Good evening and welcome to the regularly school board meeting of April 23rd, 2019. Roll call, please.
Director Azer.
Here.
Director Johnson.
Here.
Treasurer Anderson. Here. Chair Goggins.
Here.
And Clerk Boguszewski is here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any agenda adjustments this evening?
No, there aren't any.
Great. We are fortunate to have some community input this evening. We have a number of people from the Swim and Dive Booster Club here this evening to speak with us. If you could state your name and your address and whoever is going to speak, that would be wonderful.
Yes, here.
Your preference, if you'd like to sit, you're welcome to, or
I think
stand.
I'm going to sit
Okay.
quickly because I won't say much. But so my name is Matthew Brandt. Address is 1837 Ryan Avenue West in Roseville. So thank you for giving the Swim and Dive Booster Club this time to come before you and talk about and discuss improvements to the aquatic facilities made possible by the 2017 bond referendum. We're all excited to be here. I'm joined by Melinda Bentz and Pete Carpenter, who are going to say things in a second about that. But first I wanted to start with some thanks. First I want to thank Aldo Sicoli, Superintendent Sicoli, for quickly connecting me with Sherry Thompson and the booster with Sherry Thompson when we had lots of questions about where the status of the upgrades, how things were going, how the planning process was proceeding. Sherry's been great to work with, so now the second thanks are to Sherry Thompson, who's been actually great and a very patient partner as we've worked through. Obviously you can see there are, we're going to take a picture because the swim, at least the competitive swim community is here in force, and we're a passionate group of parents and swim supporters, so Sherry's been patient and been a good partner with us through this process, so thanks to Sherry. Thanks to, I saw Reed in back. Reed's been a good person to think things through and connect with as well over the past couple of months, and his support for the Swim and Dive program is both significant and meaningful. And I want a final thanks to other staff, Steph Monaco, Mike Richards, and Bob Andreessen, the Swim and Dive coaches, who work tirelessly with our boys and girls every single day, who form them into the young men and women they are becoming. I know it doesn't pay very well, so it's got to be a commitment of love for children and swimming. We appreciate all they have done and all that you help them do every day. I have one graduated swimmer, he's a college freshman, one junior swimmer, and then an up-and-coming 10-year-old swimmer. And so we're gonna be here for a while, for good or bad. We've already been here for a while, but watching the way the coaches and your staff work with our children has been amazing and inspiring. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Pete.
Thank you for having us today. I'm Pete Carpenter. I live at 810 Millwood Avenue in Roseville. I'll be brief. After lots of thought and reflection and research, the Swim and Dive Booster Club believes that the rebuild of the Fairview Community Center provides a once-in-a-generation opportunity for the swimming community of Roseville. We believe that this situation creates the possibility for a community aquatic center that can serve the needs from the youngest to the oldest swimmers and divers in Roseville for many years to come. The swim community in Roseville is already very tight and close-knit. As you're probably already aware, many of the competitive swimmers began in classes at Fairview, taught by members of the Roseville High School swim team. I know that was true for my family. We really appreciate the foresight shown by the district in budgeting significant funds to pool improvements and renovations. We're hopeful that this could provide an opportunity for an even better long-term solution, and we'd like to help in any way we can. Thank you.
My name is Melissa Benz. I have two swimmers on the Roseville swim team, and I live on the back block of Dale Street in Roseville. A group of us came together, committed parents and individuals, over a year ago, and we wanted to advocate and partner with the district to make the best possible pool facilities within the committed resources for our swimmers and for the swim community in all of Roseville. We believe that this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment for our city. Our pools are 50 years old. They are at the end of their lifespan, and while they meet the current minimum safety standards, the trend in pool design and safety is definitely moving away from our pools, not toward them. But we don't want to dwell on what improvements can be made to our current existing structures in the pool areas. We want to work with you to create long-term solutions for the swimmers in our community. We all gathered here because we're excited and energized about the possibility of doing something very significant for our community. Our only ask today is continued partnership and conversation. We're here to partner and to help in any way that we can. As Pete said, if it's about resources, we'll help fundraise. If it's about partnerships, we'll help build those relationships. If it's anything else, we ask that you or your staff reach out to us so that we can help you. Thank you for your time. Now we have a few members of our Roseville Swim and Dive team that would like to make a few comments.
Hi, I'm Joe Brandt. I'm a junior at Roz, and I've been swimming for as long as I can remember, and I've been on the Roz team for 5 years now. I stopped swimming for my club last year, but I kept and will keep swimming on Roz for the following year until I graduate. A large reason of this is because of my coaches, Mike, Steph, George, and Cliff, and the community that exists on the Roz team. It's really special. I've learned a lot from my coaches. I've learned to push myself. And last year, I learned a little about how to lead the team as a captain. We have a really strong community, but it could be a lot stronger. The last 2 years, I've worked hard to recruit new swimmers, but our pool is a large problem. It's dark, dingy, shallow, and just really old. If you don't love swimming, it's not really that pleasant. It's not that much of a pleasant or inviting place to swim. And if you do love swimming, there are plenty of other pools in our conference that provide better pools. My teammates and I have learned so much from swimming. I would not be who I am without the Roz swim program. I want a bigger, stronger, and more stable community for the future swimmers of Roseville. These kids deserve that, especially the younger swimmers and the up-and-coming swimmers. And I hope that we can all work together to build a new and significantly improved aquatics facility. So, yeah.
My name is Grace Campbell. I'm currently an 8th grader at Parkview Center School, and I've been a part of the Roseville Girls Swim Team for 2 years. I'm here to represent the voice of the Roseville Girls and Boys Swim and Dive Team. We have collected statements from current and future swimmers to communicate to you and the community our sentiments about what Roseville Swim Team means to us and some of our concerns. Below are some anonymous statements from the Girls and Boys Swim and Dive Team. I really love my swim team. I love the character building, and I really like meeting new people. I enjoy the teamwork. Our pool is doable, but I really feel as if it could be better, and that it is comparable to our competitors. Nothing much, but it would be nice if the pool was just a little bit nicer. Diving is what I look forward to most during school. I have had to learn to set goals through the program and have had the opportunity to dive in the Division I college. I have been on the swim team for 3 years now, and over the course of the seasons, I have gotten to know my teammates well. I have forged a lot of new friendships and have learned a lot of really important lifelong skills from being on the team, including confidence, social skills, teamwork, commitment, and working in the community. The swim team is an overall great place to be and is very inspiring. I just love it. What the swim team means to me is that you are at your best moments and your worst. You are there to understand your state of mind, and we all love each other and are there for the general mood of support and safety when you talk to the girls. The seniors teach us so much and uphold traditions that are very important to the team. I have greatly benefited as an individual from Roseville Swim Team. The team has taught me a sense of commitment and friends. And my friends have pushed me to succeed as well as support each other during our highs and lows. The team overall has a growth mindset, and no matter how we perform, we are happy with the outcome, which I believe is a very valuable asset to have in life. Overall, I've had an amazing experience swimming with the Roseville Swim Team. I don't always feel like I fit in everywhere, but at meets, I get the sense of belonging. This is where I'm meant to be, this is what I'm meant to do. It happens to me in every meet without fail. Swim team is like a family to me. For the amount of time we have it, you guys make it a special and supportive atmosphere, which is the reason why I stayed so long. There is also no other feeling that can replace swimming. It is a truly unique sport, and many people should have the chance to experience it at Roseville. Good evening. My name is Madison Newharth. I'm currently a freshman on the Roseville girls swim and dive team. Last fall was my 3rd year on the team. I have been participating in competitive swimming since I was 3 years old, and my love for the sport has only grown since then. Swimming has always been a form of therapy for me. It always reduces stress from school, my home life, or even from other extracurricular activities. As I tell many people in my life, swimming is what keeps me sane. Swimming also keeps me in shape, and as an asthmatic, I have limited options for athletic activities. Through swimming, I have learned better breathing techniques, increased my stamina, and achieved a higher level of confidence, all of which lift me to be a better person in all aspects of my life. In my 12 years of swimming, I have swam in dozens of pools, from community centers to prestigious colleges, all of which had various ranges of quality. A competitive swimmer can really tell the difference when a pool is in good condition or not. Poor conditions can drastically change the swimmer's performance and breathing. My dream, as is the dream of many of my teammates, is to perform the best I can and possibly receive a scholarship to a college using my swimming and academic achievements. The pool we swim in is the conduit to reach this dream. Thank you for allowing us to have a voice in this decision-making process, and we are looking forward to swimming and diving our way into a new, higher quality pool. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Elijah, and I'm a sophomore at Ross. I've been swimming for as long as I can remember. Swimming began for me as a substitute for physical and occupational therapy, and it has become part of my spiritual practice. Swim team helps me stay mentally and physically fit during my family's personal challenges. I have participated in many sports and activities over the years, and swimming is my favorite. I work several jobs to help pay for my swimming because it is very important to me. Swimming helps me be successful in my AP classes, enriches my other sports, and helps me as I work towards my Boy Scout Eagle rank, and has even resulted in me becoming a lifeguard and a youth coach for our community. I love being in water, and I look forward to the swim season each year. It's critically important to me that Roseville swimmers have a safe place to practice and compete. I've said goodbye to many friends I used to swim with when I was younger because they transferred to Mounds View or Cretin-Derham Hall or other sports due to the poor condition of our pools. A friend of mine quit swim team following a concussion because our pool is too shallow. There have been many times when we've been forced to cancel practice due to dangerous air quality. I've also had some close encounters with the bottom of the pool myself, and that's very scary as I'm an athlete with epilepsy. We live in the land of 10,000 lakes. A safe community should be a given. We hear about childhood obesity every day, so I don't understand how having an adequate pool in our school district of our size is not a priority. I'm respectfully requesting that you make that a priority. We swimmers would be grateful if the school board would ensure we have a safe, decent facility to create the best swim team program possible. Please be thoughtful about the future of our Roseville community. Swimming is truly a lifelong sport. Thank you.
Well, thank you all who spoke. Appreciate the input. I see you'd like a written response, and we will be providing a written response within the next 2 weeks. Not that we'll have an answer for you, but we will get back to you in terms of the thoughts you've shared today. Thank you for all the students especially who spoke. I know it takes a lot of courage to get up here, and you all did a wonderful job. And also appreciate the time of everybody for coming here, caring enough about our school district and our pools that you showed up today. Much appreciated.
Madam Chair. And just to remind everyone, I know Matt, we've talked about this, there is the community session that is a report out on all of the facilities work that's happening so far on April 30th. So it's just next week.
Yes.
So again, not everybody can make everything, but we have talked with the architects and engineers, and they have told us they are going to have their pool expert there, and they're expecting some of you to come and chat with them directly. And to remind everyone, the format of that session will be an initial presentation by the architects and by staff on the overall project. And then when that's done, there will be breakout tables focused on each school or site. So you'll be able to easily find where to go to interact directly and have a lot more detail, and maybe some of the detail that we've already found, some of what Sherry sent you, but the latest work in progress and where things stand at that session, and be able to have your voices heard directly to the architects and the engineers. So hope some of you, at least some of you, can make that meeting on the 30th. And it's at
30?
6:30, I believe.
6:30 to 8 o'clock is the scheduled time, but we and the staff and the architects will be there as long as we need to answer it. And it's going to be at the high school, Roz.
In the media center,
In the
yes.
media center.
And I think on the breakouts, to discuss the pools, it's probably better if you go to the Parkview table, since that's where the swim and dive competition pool is now, but we're well aware of your ideas and how it impacts both facilities. But I think we anticipate there might be different discussions that'll be had at the Fairview table, so I would direct you to the Parkview table, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next agenda item we have this evening is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda without the retirements?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay. That moves us to report and non-action items. I'm sorry, the gifts, yes, please.
Yes.
If you could, absolutely,
We'll
thank
do
you.
retirements first.
Wonderful.
So we do have 2 retirements to celebrate tonight, Madam Chair and fellow board members. Patricia Stegan, a teacher at Edgerton Elementary, is retiring after 13 years of service to the district. And Kimberly Brown, a teacher at Brimhall Elementary, is retiring after 29 years of service to our students and our families. So again, I would move that we accept with great appreciation the retirements of these 2 teachers, and with thanks for their commitment to our kids and our district over those years.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And would you like to recognize the gifts?
Absolutely. We have a financial gift from the Emmett D. Williams PTA to Emmett D. Williams for field trip robotics and their Bobcat Pride store. Financial gift from Stephen Fauché to Edgerton for a field trip. A financial gift from the Regents of the University of Minnesota, also to Edgerton Elementary for a field trip. Financial gift of Roz Girls Hockey Booster Club for the Camposia tournament for Roseville Area High School. KCM Egg Rolls, Katie Wynn, a financial gift to Roseville Area High School for students in need. Financial gift from North Suburban Evening Lions Club for use for the Roz food shelf. A financial gift to Jennifer and Nicholas Hopper to the Roseville Area High School band. A financial gift from the Roseville Area High School Bullpen Baseball Booster Club for additional coaches and equipment. Financial gift from North Suburban Evening Lions Club for the music department, Roseville Area Schools. Financial gift, Falcon Heights Lauderdale Lions Club, Roseville Area Schools Meal on Wheels, and North Suburban Events Lions Club, giving a financial for Meals on Wheels, also Roseville Area Schools.
Thank you. We are incredibly fortunate to have such a generous community and all the gifts that we have received. That moves us to the next agenda item, the reports and non-action items. And the first we have this evening is an Abbott update and certification.
Thank you for having us tonight. We're very excited to be here. We have representatives from Abbott, from Rams, Roz, and Foz. Our first topic for tonight, students are going to talk a little bit about how Abbott
Hi, my name is Selena Thomas. I am in 7th grade and I go to Rams, Roseville area middle school. So I'm going to be talking about the relationships with the students and the teachers. So relationships with students are very nice and connecting with our Avid family because we have people to relate to in the building and we always have people to talk to when we need to talk about something. Avid's very nice.
Hi, my name is Angelina Moa. I'm a sophomore at Roz, and I'm just going to talk about the difference between middle school and high school Avid. Mainly the biggest thing that I saw was in middle school they teach you where you want to go to college and what you want. And then in high school they teach you, okay, how are we going to get there? How are we going to have your GPA to be where you want to go? And how are we going to have your financial aid will help you to get where you want to go, like your dream college.
Hi, my name is Rosario Matias. I'm a 12th grade Avid student at Fairview Alternative High School. Avid has helped me with all my classes because it teaches me how to get organized and stay organized. Avid also helps with answering questions for classes, such as if I'm stuck on a question in class, I can create a TRF and present it to the class and get feedback. Avid helped me with my academic skills like note-taking. Cornell Notes makes it easy for me to write my notes faster and understand what I learned in the lesson. Avid has improved my building personal skills by helping me realize what a positive community looks like and to try new things even if you think it's not something you're into. Avid strategizes in our school helps me. Avid helps me and my peers feel more comfortable because the class lesson and rules are based off of what kind of students we are. And it makes it more helpful for students to feel like they are part of the classroom.
My name is Cesar Esteban Perez. I am in 11th grade and I am attending Roseville Area High School. And I will be talking about the opportunities that Avid has given us so far. At our school also. They have encouraged us to take a lot of AP classes. I feel like that really helped us with gaining new skills, such as reading skills, how to take good notes on textbooks. They also offer an ACT prep class that helps us. That's offered once a week. That could help us prepare for math and science part of the ACT. They also encourage us to take the PSAT, which can also help us improve and learn what's going to be on tests such as the ACT or the SAT. And then the school also offers a program called Quantum that can help students get better or if they want to be in AP classes that they haven't been to or don't know what it's going to be like, this program will help them.
Going off a little more on the opportunities that Avid gives us, there's also a lot of summer opportunities. Last year, many of us went to Hope Academy, but personally I didn't go because Avid also gave us the opportunity to fulfill our gym and health credit. And that made so much space in my schedule to do my language courses, the third trimester of my AP courses, and it also gives you a chance to put more things on your resume and to build that resume so it's better and it shines more than anybody else's.
Hi, my name is Olivia Berry. I am in 8th grade and I'm in Roz, Rosemary Middle School, and I'm going to be talking about advocating for leadership. So I would definitely say that how we all advocate for each other is we make sure that we are watching each other, how we are doing academically and mentally as well, making sure that we are always there for one another, Avid family, always rocks, and also with being a part of Avid, you're not just looking out for the Avid family itself, you are also looking out for the other people and making sure that they can grow as well and how they can grow as leaders and how they can help you to grow as a leader as well. So you're mostly bettering yourself.
Great. Could we maybe pass the microphone over so that people in the audience and the TV audience can also hear that for the others who are going to speak? Because we can hear you here, but does it come off?
It doesn't come off. Do you want to just go up to the table?
Yeah.
Great.
That'd be helpful.
Thank you.
My name is
I think it'll just be kind of catches up.
Yeah.
My name is Tyler Mosley, and I'm a sophomore at Ross. And I'm going to be talking more about leadership and how my class went through the demonstration for the sophomore class. And I was actually, Angel 2 was one of, we call it our ducks, and they actually went through our binders. So the fact that our classmates could trust us into fulfilling us to get demonstration was very great. And then we also have an opportunity to lead Avid Family Nights. So I know in middle school mostly the teachers will plan them, but in high school you'll actually get a group together to lead an Avid Family Night.
I had an opportunity to participate in the Avid demonstration. The students who participated were incredible. It was really impressive.
Hi, my name is Ariana Booker, and I'm a 12th grade Avid student at Fairview Alternative High School. Our Avid class builds leadership by making sure that we have time every Wednesday to see the little kids from Miss Kinder's pre-K class at our school. Every Wednesday we play with the kids either on their side of the school or outside if it's nice out. I like that we do this because it helps calm me and makes me forget about all the stuff that goes on, and I can be a kid with them. I gain patience and leadership when we spend time with them. Having this opportunity has given me ideas on what I want to do after high school.
We're going to talk a little bit about equity now, and we've got some students to talk through that. As we can see, we have a lot of high expectations, and we're going to hear from three.
Hi, my name is Chinu. I'm an 8th grader from Roseville area middle school. I'll be talking about reach potential and soft skills. Avid is helping us reach our potential. Avid has helped us by giving us a safe environment to work in. Avid has set high expectation for us, including our teachers at our schools. We are learning a lot of skills to reach our potential. Some skills that I learned while being in Avid was number one, leadership. Avid taught us to be a better leader in classes and out of class. Number two, teamwork. In tutorials, we work together to help our student presenter to answer he or her VOC. Number three, time management. Avid teaches us to use our time usefully.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kamia Chia. I'm a junior at Roseville Area High School, and I'll be talking about how Avid has given us access to different opportunities out of the classroom. One of the opportunities that Avid has given me is I and some other peers of mine was able to go on a job shadow at Medtronic, and we got the opportunity to see the different chemical engineering sites that they have, and we also got to dissect a sheep's brain, which is crazy. And I'm interested in going into the medical field, so that going to that job shadow was really important for me because it gave me a better understanding of what I wanted to do in the medical field and to see if chemical engineering and what Medtronic has to offer is something that I want to do. And another thing that Avid has given me is one of our tutors, Bruce, well actually many of our tutors, but one of them is Bruce. He is the math tutor at the high school, and he is always coming to us with different opportunities about the STEM field, and every time he gets a new opportunity, he just puts it in front of us. And before Avid, I would have never had these opportunities because I had no idea that this was a thing. And also with the PSAT, I wasn't even planning on doing the PSAT before I joined Avid, and I just joined this year. And taking the PSAT, it made me understand the importance of it because I didn't even know that I was going to be good at it. And surprisingly, I was better at the PSAT than the ACT. And so being better at the PSAT, like now I know that I can take the SAT and be as successful as I can, and that could also back me up with my ACT scores. And the last thing Avid has done for me is help me with quantum. Before Avid, I didn't know what quantum was, and quantum is a program at the high school that some of the AP teachers and other teachers who have retired, where it's like a prep over the summer to get us prep for our new AP and pre-B courses, because over the summer, obviously teenagers, we just forget about everything over the summer, who reads, right? Who wants to read over the summer? But, they give us a book, and if you want to be successful in that program, you have to read the book. And so obviously, reading the book, it helps us, maintain, the school mindset. So by the time school comes around in September, we're ready for school and ready for our AP classes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Savannah Moriarty, and I'm a senior Avid student at Fairview Alternative High School, and I will be discussing the rigorous courses that we offer. So we have a lot of them, varied from computer science, which is an AP class, to MapStars, which MAP is abbreviated for Minnesota Association of Alternative Programs. And we have the opportunity to learn about a lot of interesting real-world topics like sexism, racism, and inequality. And it's really interesting for us to learn about these things because it's different and non-traditional, and we also have a say of what we learn, and teachers make it flexible for us where we can suggest what we want to learn, and we learn about that stuff in class, also leading us to be more curious outside of school and wanting to continue our learning. On top of that, we also have the opportunity to attend an entrepreneurship class or camp in Winona at Winona State University. So we have a group of students going there this weekend actually, and we will be touring the campus and small businesses that are local there, and it helps us just to see and experience college. And obviously with Avid, college is a big thing for all of us, which is really helpful. And with all that being said, FOS has a lot to offer with all the rigorous courses that we have and out-of-school learning opportunities. FOS has taught me, and as well as fellow students, a lot about real-life issues and different opportunities that we all have after high school. We learn stuff which interests us and teaches us to be curious.
I wanted to talk a little more about the opportunities non-Avid students get through Avid students. So if you look behind you, there's a picture at the top right corner. That's me and my best friend Kazua on the right. So we got the opportunity to see Experience Minnesota at the U of M, and she was able to see all the majors that she can do and what she has an interest in, and she even got to see MKDC, which is the Minnesota K-pop dance crew over there, and she went wild in that. But there are things that Avid students can give to non-Avid students as well, and it's amazing to see how us Avid demonstration students who can influence these non-Avid students in our school.
All right, and moving on to the next part, we're going to talk about teacher effectiveness. And along with these amazing students, we have 300 plus Avid students, 712, at Rams, Roz, and FOS. And so this is just a really nice representation tonight to hear that. One of the things with the Avid elective is also Avid school-wide. And between FOS, Roz, and Rams, we have 95% of our staff trained. And so for our staff, to be trained, they need to either go to 3 different things. Either PATH, which is a local training by Avid, or we can go to Summer Institute, and that usually is in Minneapolis, but sometimes we've gone out of state. And then there's also the local PD that we provide at our own sites, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. One of the other things is we also have 5 national trainers, and that's something to be said. At this point, we can start training our own staff, and so we aren't going to have to use as much
of our funds for that, which is really exciting as well. And then hopefully we can continue training and having also our AVID students starting to come back and being a part of our AVID crew. The other thing is we're going to talk a little bit about our SIP plans at each site. And so at RAMS, our focus this year has been focused note-taking, organization, and critical reading or critical reading strategies. And we will continue that. One message is that for our staff and for our students is we want to get really good at those three things. So our students are college and career ready, so as they move on to the high school, they're ready to take those notes. They're ready to problem solve. And they're also organized. And so we are going to hear from Ms. Barnes and from Ms. Freer.
So I'm Ann Barnes. I am the coordinator at Roseville Area High School. And as part of our SIP plan this year, we are focusing on AVID strategies. We want 100% of our teachers to be using AVID strategies in their classrooms, as well as through PLCs. We are picking kind of a big hallmark strategy that each PLC is incorporating into their lessons. And then absent narratives and community building, and as far as helping students gain that social emotional health. And so a lot of AVID strategies match well with that. And our CRT trainings that many of our staff members have been through PATH or through Summer Institute also help with that community building as well. Our three main areas that we are working on as far as our demonstration goals are spreading content study groups, which simulates a college study group so that our students are ready to go and form those groups at the college level. Focused note-taking, because we know how important that is, and that's a skill that college professors are going to be looking for. As well as our third one is really managing that difference between digital organization and analog organization through binders and papers, and how do you organize your materials and your time to be college ready. And so we've really been working with our staff to make sure that students are seeing those things in all of our classrooms at Roz this year. And now we'll hear from Laura Freer and Foz.
At FOZ, our school improvement goals do connect very well with our Wicker strategies that we use. We're focusing on focused note-taking, organization, and writing to learn. And so all of our students in our school, the first day, they get a 3-ring binder, and we teach them how to stay organized. And we do binder checks every week in our advisory, so all students get those skills. Our English and social studies teacher took on a big role of teaching students how to do timed writing in their classes, and then our other content teachers, even our art teacher, is using the writing to learn strategies so that all students are getting these skills, not just our AVID elective students. And the last one is focused note-taking. Like Ms. Barnes said, we want all of our students to go on to college, and college at FOZ means anything post-secondary, and so we want to make sure that they're ready for note-taking in any aspect of their next steps. And the reason why we picked the writing to learn strategies as a school-wide is because we want our students to do better every year on our ACT test, which is what we give in April. Our next slide that we're going to talk about is School of Distinction. And I am honored to say all 3 sites last year received the School of Distinction Award. And how we did that, we're recognized for our teachers trained in using Wicker strategies in all classes regularly. The school leadership, you'll hear from Ms. Hester and Dr. Brookins in a minute about how they are how they're leading their schools for college and career readiness, as well as their demonstration schools. We offer rigorous courses at all levels. We're having students have their pathway to college, no matter what that looks like, including ACT testing, applying for colleges, accepting colleges for all students in all of our schools. So that's a really big honor to get last year, and hopefully we'll have that again. Thank you.
Good evening. As you can see, we have done AVID and done it very, very well. To the degree that we have become a national demonstration site, and the first national demonstration site, 712, in the state of Minnesota. So that is a huge honor, and we are excited about that. Being an AVID national demonstration site provides us the opportunity to host other schools to come in and learn with us and learn from us. We had our first showcase this past school year, I think it was January, and we had an opportunity to host, I would say, at least 10 other schools, about 50 people, and they came in and they were impressed. Impressed with not just the presentation that we put together, but impressed by our collective effort and our commitment to our students and making sure that they are college and career ready. So we're excited about the fruit that Avid has produced, and we're even more excited about the future and how we will continue to go deeper, share our strategies and practices, with other schools from out the state, but more importantly, make sure that we are producing students that are just amazing, just truly amazing. I just get goosebumps. And so we will continue with this. Now, part of being a national demonstration school and school sites is we do Avid school-wide. So it's not just about the Avid elective class, but you should be able to come into any of our schools and you're going to see Avid practices school-wide. Whether you go into IT, FACS, health, any class you go into at Rams and Roz, you're going to see evidence of Avid school-wide practices. And we are proud about that because we know that it makes a difference.
I will add just a few things with being a demonstration school, knowing that every teacher is getting the PD that we need to have. But one of the things that has come out of this is we now have an intro to, tutoring in the urban context class that is a part of our education pathway. So we have an intro to urban education class along with MCTC with the tutoring class, and then we'll be adding multicultural approaches. So now we're going to be grooming our future teachers at Roz, which is a part of that and that grew from Avid. But one of the things that we need to recognize is this is a teaching opportunity. They are gaining the skills to impact the world when they leave Roseville area schools. The fun part about what we do, the joyful part, as he was giggling up here about being around, he sees them every day, but he giggles anyway. He does get excited, is that we have the opportunity to learn from them and watch them grow. And that's the fun part. And I had to double check with Ms. Barnes, but Abbott was looking for interns this year. We were the only school that responded. They had 4 spots. We got all 4. We got all 4. 2 of them went to Abbott students. So we now have 4 students from Roseville Area High School working at Abbott Laboratories. So what we are doing is providing that evidence for you that it works, they work, and they keep us on our toes, and they even teach us new languages that we keep updated on, which I have to practice because I can't use it in context right now. But we love being around them, and we love the work that these guys have done, because without them, this wouldn't exist at all.
The last thing we would love to, that's wonderful. And the last thing we'd like to show you is our video that we showed at Showcase, and we also are showing this to prospective students, prospective families, and also the Avid classes.
There is something really special about an Avid class. There is nothing like it.
It's really a place for all of us students to grow together.
I've met some of my closest friends in my Avid class. When they say Avid family, you really are a family.
I'm loving. Kids come from all different backgrounds, and a lot of them have had to deal with a lot of difficult roadblocks or barriers in their life.
I have a 7th grader over at Rams, and he's in our Avid program. He gets to go into classrooms where students look like him, and students are coming from similar backgrounds.
You are surrounded with people that are just like you, and you motivate each other to do better.
Not only do they have high expectations for themselves, but there's methods that are proven that help them fulfill those high expectations.
I feel like we just do things that you wouldn't be able to do in other classes. You wouldn't be able to understand and get to know people on another level.
I think the biggest thing is opportunity and access. And I think Avid breaks down those barriers for a lot of students.
They're giving him an environment where he can thrive, and that he can not only thrive, but he can bring himself.
Avid shows you that you can make your dreams come true. I've been able to focus and be on the A honor roll because of Avid. By me pursuing college and my career, I can also be a leader to my friends. As they see me grow, their mentality changes along with mine. Avid's really shown me that as long as you have motivation to go to college, you can. We're never giving up on each other, and we're always pursuing our goals and making sure that somebody else is not giving up on theirs.
We've had a lot of graduating classes, and those kids are out being super successful. I mean, they're changing the world truly, which is really powerful.
Great. We'll open it up if you have any questions you would like to ask the students.
Oh, yeah. Avid seniors, what are your plans for next year?
I can start.
Speak up.
I will be going to St. Paul College. I signed up to take 2 years, and I would be going for a massage therapist.
I'm going to be doing an online class during the summer just to see what I want to do, because I'm not for sure yet. But I'm going to get my feet on the ground.
I will also be joining Rosario at either St. Paul, MCTC, or Century, and I'm leaning towards completing 2 years there and then transferring to do a 4-year and majoring in child development.
Now, I may not be a senior, but I am planning on doing full-time PSCO next year at St. Paul College as well. And I've decided to take the entrepreneurial route, and I've already signed up to do their courses there. And yeah.
Cool. Exciting.
So just a couple comments. So first, just to the Avid teachers and staff, I'm very, just a very small thing, I'm very happy on the PSAT inclusion, because it may seem like it's just an extra test to you guys, but as you'll see when you sign up the thing to submit the scores, there are many scholarships that colleges or companies sponsor that only look at the PSAT and SAT scores, not the ACT. It's really good. Second, maybe just to the younger, like the 8th grade. When I was in 7th and 8th grade, I was like goofing off, spinning around in my lab chair until I got dizzy and fell off. That was how I had fun. I was not like coming to a school board and speaking on television in front of everybody. So it's just very impressive what you've done. And opportunity is a two-way street, right? So Avid may be there to offer it out, but you have to reach out and take it. And from what we've seen tonight, and your fellow students who maybe couldn't be here with you tonight, we've seen that you've done that. You've reached out and you've grabbed it. So you really should be proud of yourselves. We're very proud of you. And please pass that along to your friends and the others that are in the program with you, because you're definitely a gem in the crown of Roseville Area School District, and the whole Avid program is. And I know that sounds probably trite and old. You're dope. How about that? Is that you're dope. There you go. Did I use that right?
I need you to spin in the chair.
Thank you for coming and sharing. It was really great.
Mike needs to know when he's okay. Look, you guys are awesome. First of all, great presentation. I had the opportunity to attend Avid Family Night at the middle school, and was just blown away. I really didn't understand everything that you guys are doing. So I'm looking forward to attending Family Night at the high school next time. But keep doing what you're doing. Teachers, you're doing a great job. And if anybody's doing computer science, let me know. Just
I'm in computer science.
okay. Let's talk.
I'm a high school teacher in a neighboring district, and you have a reputation. Avid students have a reputation. Educators love it when you're in our classes because you're leaders, and I loved what you said about being curious. That's what it's all about. So I was really happy and pleased to see that you're deciding to take on that leadership role, because your enthusiasm, your curiosity is contagious in the classroom, and your educators really appreciate it, And I can't tell you how excited and how much I brag about the fact that FOZ, our wonderful high school, FOZ, has Avid in it. It's unbelievably cool, and I'm really proud that you're part of that program and that you're leading the state in that way. So thank you for being brave.
If I may add, it's really been a privilege to support the AVID program, and it will continue to be a privilege to work with you. Dr. Birkenstead, you're amazing. Everyone is amazing attached to this program. And I'd like to give a special shout out and thank and congratulate both Tana Bogenholm and Ann Barnes, who will serve as next year's co-AVID district directors for Roseville area schools.
Well, hopefully this experience and speaking in front of us will give you confidence to go out and conquer all sorts of different things. You guys, it was very informative, very eloquent, very persuasive. Great job. And we're looking forward to all the things you're going to accomplish in future years, because we know it's going to happen.
I have one more thing to add
Sure.
about AVID. I'm just really grateful for, having this opportunity to be an AVID, because AVID pushed me to join speech club, and it's something that people don't really do because it's not like really that big of a thing. But I was so nervous to join it because I was like speaking in front of people and like being judged, and I just hate being judged. But like being in speech like helped me to become better at speaking. Like I don't even know how I'm doing this right now because I used to be horrible at speaking.
You're doing it very
And-
well.
Thank you. And just being in speech and like having AVID push me to try new things, and it's just helped me to become like a more confident individual and be more confident in like what I want to say, and like being confident that I can be able to like persuade other people to like agree with what I'm thinking, or just be open-minded to different like new things and things like that. And I'm just so grateful for having AVID in my life.
Well, thank you so much for coming tonight. Highlight of our meeting, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
The next agenda item we have this evening is new course proposal.
Good interns.
We have Jay Fondelindi to kick us through that.
Thank you for having me tonight. And as you said, we don't have proposals, we just have one for now. For this spring going into the 2020-2021 school year. So we have to get these approved so they can go into the registration book for January of next year. So we have to do some real pre-planning. The proposal that I bring to you tonight is called Automotive Technology Know Your Car. And it comes about because of the changes that are going to be happening between with our facilities changes at Rams and at Roz. So the what's going to happen is that our automotive shop is going to move from the Roseville area middle school to Roseville area high school, which gives the opportunity to not have to bus students between those two schools, because currently we bus students from FOS and from Roz to go to Rams to do their automotive work. And currently our Automotive 1 class is a 2-hour block, and it will actually be able to go down to a 1-hour block of time. And so that opens up another block of time that our industrial technology group opened up to provide this new course, which is Automotive Technology Know Your Car. And it's just a 1-credit elective course, and it's really to help students learn about car ownership, really focused on those students in 10 through 12 that are starting to get their license and starting to drive. It would be possible to be open to 9th grade students who are maybe getting their permit and those things too. But it's going to be a course around basic car maintenance, how to purchase a car, how to use car insurance, what to do if you're in an accident, various car systems, studying those, and then potential careers in the automotive industry. So it's another kind of a first stepping stone into that automotive pathway that we offer in our high schools, Roseville area high school.
Are there any questions this evening?
Quick question. So, does this presume that the automotive workshop will be moved to the high school by the time this?
Yes, that does.
Okay.
Yes. And we're hoping that'll be the case.
Okay.
If not, we do have
Well,
plans
I
in
just-
place to, like, Ken Subsinski, the teacher that does our automotive classes, has alternative plans as well to
Okay.
figure some things out.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Stuff happens. Yeah.
Yes.
Snow in July.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Yes,
I think
thank you.
pretty self-explanatory this evening.
Looks good to me.
That moves us to action items. The first we have this evening is the 2018-2019 school calendar adjustment. Dr. Sokoli will cover that.
Yes, at the last school board meeting, the board approved 4 days to count towards the snow day relief bill that Governor Wallace recently signed into law that would excuse some of the weather-related school closings as it pertains to instructional, required number of instructional hours. And so at your last meeting, you approved 4 days for that. And we have since had another weather-related closing, snow day, so to speak. So our secondary schools are, again, below the required amount of instructional time for the year if we were not to make up that day. So we are recommending tonight that you approve that as a snow day relief bill day, so to speak, counting the instructional hours of April 11th towards the required number of hours for students.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the request to count one business day, 6.08 hours instructional time for the snow day relief bill.
Second.
Are there any questions, comments? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Okay. That moves us to action item 7B, set board meeting dates for the 2019-2020 school year.
Yes, so your usual board calendar, as you know, meetings on the second and fourth Tuesdays of each month, except for August and December when you only have one. So we just follow that same format, but you will see some slight changes. So July 30th, I believe, is a meeting to approve any construction bids for work over the summer, since we go the whole month of July without having a meeting. And then you'll see other changes in March. 17th and 31st are actually the third and the, fifth Tuesday of the month. But originally that first meeting fell over spring break. So we thought that would be difficult for some people. So we bumped that meeting back and then we had to bump the following meeting back. But otherwise, pretty much the same.
And when's Thanksgiving? It's the week before, right? I think it's like the 22nd, 23rd, something like that.
I think so. We missed Thanksgiving this year. Or next year.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the calendar as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Okay. The next item we have is to set school board closed sessions. We are proposing to hold closed sessions immediately following the work-study session on Tuesday, May 14th and Tuesday, June 11th. The purpose of the sessions will be to evaluate the performance of the superintendent as permitted by Section 13D.05, Subdivision 3A. So at the first session, it would be solely the board, so that we have an opportunity to discuss it and share perspectives. And then at the second session, we would have Dr. Sokoli present. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any commentary, discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, action item 7D, school board representative for teacher contract negotiations. And is,
These are the here tonight.
Okay.
They are looking for a school board rep to participate on the negotiations team for upcoming teacher contract negotiations. The commitment is 2 to 3 times per month. Their meetings are usually in the afternoon, around 12:30 to 3:30 or 1 to 4, somewhere in there.
Madam Chair, given our understanding that Director Shaw has volunteered to once again serve as our rep in this regard, I would move that we would ask him to do so again.
Do we need to make a motion to table it?
no, he actually sent an email saying he would like to be considered for this. He obviously brings experience to that. He has served as our rep for 2 cycles previously, and he would like to have that role again if that works for everybody.
Yeah, I'm good.
Is there somebody who would be interested as being the alternate to support him?
I could be the alternate.
Todd? Okay, so could we have a motion for the...
Yeah, but I'll amend my motion, since no one seconded it yet, that that Director Shaw be our representative and that Treasurer Anderson be our alternate.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay. That brings us to our study session report, and Director Johnson will be covering that this evening.
Yes. We had a rather detailed annual curriculum review report. Some of the highlights of that is that we'll be continuing to focus on absent narratives. We will have advanced options at Rams and Parkview, Arabic at Rawls and Rams, AP Computer Science is back. Yay! All right. And the drones class will have, I believe, 3 sessions, so that was very successful. We had a program report from the English Learner group. Christina Robertson led that. The English Learner group focuses the work on guided reading, co-teaching, math, science, English, and social studies. 8 of the coaches participated in a program at Hamline University called English Learner in the Mainstream, and it's a program that prepares them to train mainstream teachers. We had a facilities planning update. I will not. The really cool thing about that, Little Canada now should be done with their addition. April 30th, everybody come on out to. Sorry, it's the high school. I was about to say Fairview. Come on out to the high school media center to get full updates on everything. We talked about some possible future discussion items and, of course, the superintendent evaluation process.
Great. Thank you for that report. Board reports. Who would like to begin this evening?
I do have a couple things. One, a number of us were able to attend the 3rd session of the Equity Alliance Minnesota sponsored series for board and school district leadership on equity. And this session was focused on board action, helping us understand, ways to take board action and responses to situations that might come up in our community. So we learned a little bit about different communication styles and how that can affect how people hear what we might say. And I think one of the things that there was some consensus on was that often boards, particularly as we are, I'm proud to say, when it comes to equity, are leaders in our communities. And we may even be out in front of our communities in some respect in terms of leading for equity and what we do and how we react to things. So it was just a very interesting and fulfilling evening to me, as I'm sure it was for others who were there. I think many of us were there, 3 or 4 of us. And I applaud Equity Alliance Minnesota for sponsoring that and putting it on. And hopefully, as they continue with that series in the future, even more districts will take advantage of participating. So it's just a very, very eye-opening evening. They presented some scenarios of what could happen, how we would respond, and there aren't always easy answers. It can be very tricky, obviously, as we know, with situations that come up as we even had today. Secondly, remember, was our board rep to Equity Alliance Minnesota. At our last meeting, we had an interactive session with the YEP students where a number of kids came from each of the member districts, and we had an initial circle session where we just talked and called out things like, based on our experience, things like how many of you have been in a situation where you're the only person like you in the schoolroom? How many people of you have ever felt intimidated and you felt it was based on your race or your ethnicity or whatever? And those of us standing around in a circle, which included students and EAMN board members, would step forward or back appropriately. And it was disappointingly predictable, I think, that most of us who were who are white, frankly, have not had experiences where we felt we were alone or unsupported. And many of the students, sadly, in the circle did step forward and shared that they were in situations where they did feel left out or threatened or bad in some way, shape, or form. Then we broke out and had a chance to sit with 2 Roseville area high school students, one junior and one senior. I'll not share their names. It's two young women, both of color. And what we did is we shared story cloths that we had put together over the preceding month, where it just described our own educational journey through pictures or symbols that we would draw, and how it affected what we are today. And what I learned from that and what they shared with me is that we do still have work to do in Roseville. And I don't. It's not a failure. I think it's just the way it is. But we need to be diligent about it. They shared their own feelings and perceptions about things like AP classes that they did not feel were for them. That it was subtle things. One student described an AP English class that she was in, where she was the only student of color in this particular class. And even as discussions ensued, the majority would talk about things or say things in a way that were, to her, insensitive or misinterpreting or were an attempt to interpret through a white or majority lens what they believed persons of color should or would think or how they would feel, and they were getting it wrong. But she didn't feel comfortable enough to bring that up. And she said, so that people hear that, they know it, and so some of the lower rates of students of color wanting to get into AP classes or other classes like that, where it still is that they're a decided minority in those groups, they're put off a little bit. So, and that's a subtle thing. So I think we just have to, I told them I'd share that. They asked me if I would. I am. And I think we just need to hear that and kind of filter that message out that it's still there. Things are still happening. We just need to keep at it every day. It's not like it's done. It's not like, you change your car oil and you don't have to do it again. You have to do it every single time.
I went to see the elementary school musical at Falcon Heights Elementary School. It was Susical. They did a great job. Some other Falcon Heights news, the stuff sale put on by the PTA is a Saturday morning. It's a big community event. There's volunteers from across the community, not just Falcon Heights members, and there's a lot of stuff for sale, mostly kid stuff. So that may be something people want to go out and see on Saturday. In my role as an educator in a neighboring district, I had the opportunity to go to the BAR conference, which is an initiative that St. Louis Park High School started in 1998-99, and it's a data-driven 9th grade program that creates culture, wellness, and academic success, a lower rate of failures for 9th graders by putting them into some smaller clusters, and it might be something we want to consider looking at. Because I know several years back we had a report on our 9th grade students and how 9th graders do in our high school. And sometimes the numbers can be kind of alarming. It's a tricky transitional year, and anything we can do for our 9th graders to help them out and create sort of a bridge between 8th grade and 9th grade I think would be helpful. So I just thought I'd bring that up. It was a great program, really informative. So something to think about. How are we going to help our 9th graders? That might be something we want to report on again, the status of our 9th grade and what we do as a district to bridge between 8th and 9th grade. The end.
Yeah, I had an opportunity last week, a couple of different things. Attended the District Curriculum Advisory Committee, and as Jake mentioned, we did have a really good discussion on the automotive technology class. That we just approved. It was unanimous approval by the DCAC. Really good conversation and discussion of that course. And then we also reviewed and discussed the curriculum and program review system manual report that the board had seen previously. So we went through that. Then also I wanted to share that Director Johnson and I attended an important Roseville Area Middle School PTA meeting. Over the past couple of years. Kind of low parental involvement, maybe some dwindling attendance for some of the meetings, but Director Johnson and I were there to lend support. Some of the PTA experiences that we'd had, Dr. Brookins was there to lend support as well and to share experiences of this is what the Roseville, middle school PTA has been about, the necessity of it, and just really wanting to make sure that it continues to grow, continues to stay strong. And I have to say that I'm very encouraged by some of the incoming 7th grade parents. One of them, I think, is a Central Park PTA president. So very enthused. There were, it wasn't the biggest turnout, but the ones that turned out for that meeting, very involved, very engaged, very passionate. And they know that there's a Rams open house coming up on May 2nd. And the plan is to start recruitment, to start getting the word out even more about the Roseville Area Middle School PTA. They're going to have a table at that event. So I'm very encouraged and hopeful moving forward. That's it.
Cool. Second, your sentiment regarding the Rams PTA. Looks like there's a next generation of leaders that will step up and take that over. There's still some work to be done, and I'll be there on May 2nd to try to rope in as many 7th grade parents as I can. I think the big thing that we were able to convey was that work at the work of Rams PTA is not nearly as all-encompassing as an elementary school PTA, and frankly, as a person who was an elementary school PTA president, you can easily burn out. But there's a lot of things that are already in place, and so it should be easy transition for the team that winds up taking that over. Also had the opportunity to attend a meeting of local electeds at Bramhall, and the really cool thing about this particular one is that we have representation from all 7 cities that make up the Roseville area schools, which was pretty neat. In addition to representation from the county and the state, and the guys of Representatives Hausman and Mueller. So a lot of it was literally just everybody sharing what they're doing and allowing each of us to be able to figure out how we can help each other. And so I think it was a very good meeting. So, and that's all I have for right now.
And I would like to say that we had 4 board members there too, so we were also very well represented.
Yep.
Because Todd and Curtis and Mike and I were all able to make it. I'd like to update on a couple things. We had Dr. Sicoli and I were able to meet with Sri Lankan visitors, the Rotary sponsors, on a fairly regular basis. Some administrators from Sri Lanka, and get together and share thoughts on what their system looked like versus ours. And it was fascinating. Some of the same challenges, but some very different challenges, but it's always a great experience. Got to attend the Reimagine Minnesota effort that was really around staff skills around equity, and the focus to a large extent was around the National Urban Alliance program and the growth mindset, and how do we shift to the growth mindset and the effectiveness of that in helping our students. So that was a fascinating one. And then I wanted to share with you at our last meeting, there should be enough for administrators here as well, I think. At our last meeting, Erin had a chance to give her update from attending the National School Board Association, and tonight I will be giving mine. I had a couple of different things. I did not want to repeat at all what Erin had, so some different topics here. I wanted to share with you just some nuggets that I took away from Sir Ken Robinson, who's an international authority on creativity and innovation in education and schools. And he talked about our role as not command and control, but create the culture for learning. And education is an ecosystem with children at the center. and how kids bring curiosity, creativity, and collaboration in the traditional schools promote structure, uniformity, testing, and competition. And that how does the school create the conditions where the student wants to learn? And like we are trying in our community, we need to think beyond academic intelligence to artistic, physical, and social intelligence to help bring that student into the classroom and their motivation. And I just loved his last one, which was we need to think about not the industrial model, as historically has been talked about with schools, but an agricultural model that promotes learning and growth. And I thought that was a really nice analogy that gave a very different perspective on schools. Erin had a chance to share with you some of the sessions she attended around social emotional learning and mental health. I attended some different sessions, and I wanted to share a couple of different takeaways. One thing that really struck me from one session was the sharing of the NAMI data nationally, where 21.4% of adolescents have a mental health disorder with 5% severe. That just struck me as some very high numbers. And then less than 20% actually receive treatment. And then this district shared how they developed a program to try to work through that. Another presentation, which was really about how school board leadership can support a comprehensive and integrative pro-social strategic improvement plan. And it was fascinating to me because they talked about social and emotional learning and school culture as being one of the same kind of, on a continuum in a way of thinking about it, and that we need to be thinking about relational, systemic, and instructional dimensions that are critical in getting wide long-term commitment and clear goals, but also to be thinking about it from a perspective, kind of this chart illustrates it, to be thinking about it on one dimension of individual intervention versus school-wide intervention, and that they're really both similar, except one's trying to deal with the group and one's trying to deal with the individual, and to think about it from a perspective of reactive to proactive. And if you divide that out, there are different things, and we've been doing a number of these in the different buckets, but it was, to me, an interesting way to kind of help me think a little more systemically rather than about individual initiatives, but rather help me think about, are we active both from the individual to the group and from the kind of proactive, helping provide the skills, to the reactive if situations happen. And I just found that a real valuable way for me to kind of put my head around it. And you'll notice as they give various programs in each of these that we do are active in each of those areas. Then there was another presentation around actual measures of school climate and student engagement. And there was a survey organization that works with many districts across the nation, but two specific districts presented. But what was fascinating is across the nation, the districts they work with, the biggest issue that clearly comes out from students is that students feel unsafe from mean and bullying behavior. And what was fascinating is that in most districts, the adults think the students feel safe, but the students don't feel safe. And it was a disconnect that had to be done. And what I found fascinating about what they do is they do their survey annually, and then they give the data to each of the buildings, and the buildings develop an action plan about what they can do yet that year to affect what's happening. It was a very fascinating way, in a way, to try to drive behavior on a faster basis. And the biggest thing that they found helpful was not the bullying programs, which are typically top-down programs, but instructional and relational work directly with students on how to have the difficult conversations and the difference between intent versus impact. Because often students, there's lots of normal moments that lead to hurt, but helping students differentiate when that happens with somebody who had intended to hurt versus somebody who was unintentional, and how to work through those with different people. And then, of course, also when the times were, there are more extreme cases. But that was what they found the most beneficial for them in terms of helping students feel safer in the school environment. So I'm just trying to save some nuggets or share some nuggets that I walked away with. And obviously, I tried to give you a little more information here, but if anybody has anything more, I've got my notes as well as usually the presentations. The other area that I wanted to share a little bit about was some presentations that I attended around equity. The first was supporting all students through an equity-based support curriculum. And this was a district which I found fascinating. It's K-8. They don't go all the way through high school, I guess. In California, they have some K, and they have some 9-12 sometimes, which was an interesting perspective to me. But what they talked about is for them the biggest driver around some of this equity work was really listening to student voices, that they come every day with the invisible things in their backpack, and I know this is an area of focus for us as well. But I just outlined a few of the different things that they're having. I think one of the things that was very effective in their particular district is having very targeted academic student support and the ability to put significant resources to that. And then around the social emotional learning piece, which is a second priority for them, is very much a student-centered culture and solid relationships, but also the extensive behavioral support that they were able to put into effect. So they had some pretty strong resources that they were able to put forward in both those areas. And then the other area that they focused on was around community engagement. And they're able to offer some extensive programming to help families develop some of the skills to help their students be successful. There were 3 Magna Award winners or grand prize winners, and each of those had some interesting elements to their program. I'd just like to highlight a little bit about it. One was a small district from Winchester, Virginia, with under 5,000 students, and what they really were focused on was trying to increase the students of color in 412 grade accelerated math with the goal of equal representation by 8th grade. And they found that it was really valuable to start at very young ages. When they did their root cause analysis, they realized that there needed to be a central data review for potential, because they were having a lot of different criteria among different students and or staff members, and they eliminated teachers' recommendations except to push a child forward. But there was really very much a data review to make it more not perceptions, but fact-based. And the superintendent in this small district literally personally invited every student. And they offer some aspirational supports, and one of them was an after-school hands-on STEM class to help give some extra time for the material, but also provide a very different way of teaching. And then closing some of the curricular gaps and connecting with families. And they, after 2 years, have their numbers up to fairly proportional level, but also are seeing a significant increase of white students in the accelerated math, which is similar to our experience when we think about our high school and the accelerated programs and our drive to get more students of color there. In Coatesville, Pennsylvania, their equity journey really started from a racially charged incident, and they took a survey of stakeholders by the board, and then they partnered with various organizations that could help them working around equity, and they offer literally 7.5 hours of training per month for each of their staff people, and they've been doing this for 2 years now. And it's a train-the-trainer model, which I know is often how we've done things as well. But what that has ended up happening for them is through the change in mindset of their staff, they've been able to increase the students of color in their college credit classes and their graduation rate, and also focus on some of the unfair disciplinary practices. So their focus really has been through working on staff mindset. And the last was Des Moines Public Schools. And Des Moines Public Schools actually visited Roseville area schools about 4 years ago, which was a main kickoff for them. And they took a lot of what they saw here and they ran with it. They have a strong administrative and board support. They use an equity analysis framework or dashboard, which you might recall we used to use an equity scorecard, and are very similar concept, and it flows down to individual buildings. They reorganized departments and really shifted people and changed job descriptions. And then the staff would have to reapply to the new job. And for some staff it was a good fit, and for others it wasn't. But they now literally have an equity coach at each of their buildings. They do extensive PD that goes beyond the culture responsive training, which for them they looked at a lot of as self-work on what an individual does. But they also provide training on how to model those tough conversations and around how do you do systems change, both policies and practice. And the other element of what they did was elevate student, family, and community partner voices. And they have a major problem with absenteeism. And they did gathered a lot of student voice, and what they changed based on that was just fascinating to me. They were redesigning courses, they had a kind of a grow your own teacher program, and those students, part of their experience then was to work with individual teachers or work with curriculum broader to help provide input on what could be done differently to more effectively engage students and make it more relevant for students. And then the other thing is they chose to go to a block schedule to increase student-teacher contact time to address the student concern about building relationships. It was just an interesting approach. I know that's a lot of detail, but I just wanted to allow others to benefit from some of them.
Well, maybe just one more thing, because I don't want to get out of here, but it hit close home. Because the other thing that the young ladies shared with me, and we weren't sure how to go with it, is they said that it's on the thing on the difficult conversations around intent versus impact and all of that, that they said against two particular students, but they said in their observation they do see a lot of bullying, intimidation, name calling, mocking, insults of minority kids in the presence of adults with no intervention. And again, is it that the adult that's present is not interpreting it as an intent, and just kids will be kids? But from their perspective, as two young female students of color, they wish there'd be more interventions from the adults in the room when those one-on-one little interactions occur. And he said maybe just a little subtle thing, standing in line, waiting to get food in the cafeteria, and someone will push or shove someone, or giggle, or make a comment or a gesture, or use a rude term. And they believe adults in the room hear it or see it, but just kind of let it go. And there was some wishing that more intervention would occur. So, that's kind of right at that. What do you do, and how do you intervene? And again, I'm not necessarily calling out that we should feel necessarily too guilty about that, but we should. We should have things in place that staff and the adults in the room feel that not only that they should, but they can, and would be expected to intervene and help in those situations, and would be backed up by the system in doing so.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because in the one around where they did these broad surveys, and when they talked about kids have a very different perception than adults,
yes.
That was part of what kids were saying, is adults weren't being their allies.
Yep, that's exactly right.
From their perspective, and
if you already
there's an opportunity for
that
change.
It's not for you, you feel abandoned. You feel that there's no hope.
Yeah, so it was interesting. But it's always, I just didn't want to be the only one who benefited from some of this, so I hope that it was helpful. Next is superintendent report.
Well, I'd like to share a few things. I'll start with our facilities project. So once again, I'd like to thank our community for supporting the bond referendum on November 7th, 2017. As was stated earlier by Director Johnson, the new classrooms at Little Canada Elementary are complete. Started, I believe, remodeling some other parts of the building. The science wing at Roseville Area High School seems to be progressing nicely, and work at Brim Hall, Central Park, and Edgerton Elementary Schools continues. The planning for the work at other schools is also progressing. And of course, I invite community members to attend the April 30th community update meeting on facilities projects so that you can learn in more detail about the many projects we have going on, as well as the planning. So that is on April 30th, a week from tonight, 6:30 to 8 p.m. in Roseville Area High School Media Center. A couple of very nice events were Harambe had its African American Parent Involvement Day Assembly on March 29th, and many people attended, and I want to thank all those students, staff, and parents who made it a special event. April 3rd was the Corinne Family Night. I know that several board members were at that. That was a great evening, again, very well attended. Christina Robertson, who's in the back there, was certainly made it interesting. She was wonderful at the meeting. And then I once again felt very fortunate not just to be able to be a part of, but to even find a parking spot at Fairview Community Center when our school district once again co-hosted the Roseville Job and Career and Resource Fair with the city of Roseville. And really, that's so well attended, and it's a great opportunity for people to find out about job opportunities or career opportunities out there. We appreciate all those organizations that were there and all the many people, both at the city and in the school district, who had to work hard to organize that event. Chair Goggins talked about the great opportunity she and I had to meet with the Sri Lankan educators, which happened to be on our school closing day recently. And that's, to me, that was very interesting because sometimes you read about education in other countries, but it's only been really a handful of times in my career where I've actually met with people from other countries, educators, and conversed about it. So that was very educational for me. But I do want to point out, that's a Rotary Educator Exchange Program.
Yeah.
So I thank the Roseville Area Rotary Club for providing that opportunity.
Not to ask what could be a downer question, but do we have any idea if the Sri Lankan guests that we had were affected at all by the bombings?
I don't think so, because I think I'm getting my date mixed up, but there's like a going away gathering for them that I think is this week, so I think they haven't left here yet.
But they may have extended family.
Oh yeah, that I haven't heard. No, I don't know.
So we should hope for
really
it.
tragic. Yes, thanks for sharing that, Director Bogashevsky. And I'd just like to close with a fun event, and that was on April 15th. Melissa Sonic, who is Edgerton Elementary School principal, was surprised by being the recipient of a WEM Outstanding Educator Award for Ethics in Education. And well-deserved. She's one of 6 Minnesota educators to receive the award this year. And Edgerton teacher Sue Collins, who is a past recipient, WEM award recipient, they have different categories, was the one who nominated Principal Sonic. So I congratulate Melissa on her well-deserved recognition. Thank you.
Great. Having completed the agenda before the board, I adjourn the meeting.